Welcome to Sacred Stories Podcast, a place to explore and discuss new and exciting books of consciousness. I am your host, Reverend Patricia Caginello, and speaking with authors that have shared their wisdom, stories, and a higher perspective through their books is one of my favorite things to do. Today we are speaking with J.S. Drake, author of the book May I Only Leave Rose Petals, a compilation of poetry about rediscovering the truth of one's innate divinity in the face of great pain, darkness, fear, and separation. It is about coming home. It is a journey to wholeness through 9 main chapters, from the forgetting to the homecoming. So welcome, J.S. Drake, to Sacred Stories.
Thank you so much, Patricia. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and congratulations on writing your book.
Oh, yes, it's been quite a journey, so thank you.
Well, it's a beautiful book. It's a beautiful book, and the writings in them, as you say, it's a poetry book, but it's compiled in a way that I really like. It's separated into 9 different chapters, and it takes you through your own journey as the reader in reading the poems. Is that true?
Yes, and the journey really is from a place of starting out feeling broken, feeling like you have no purpose, and then coming to the truth of finding what your purpose is and that you do matter. And it's like a coming home to the truth of who you are.
So can you share your sacred story that led you or inspired the writing of your book with us?
Of course. So, in my childhood, not only have I experienced traumas, loss, abuse, and struggles with bipolar disorder and suicidal tendencies, which helped me become inspired to write the book. But at that time that I was kind of in this dark night of the soul, or in this experience of the bipolar and suicidal tendencies, I didn't know I was going to write a book. And so I was just kind of going through these experiences. And I did not get inspired to write my story until after a particularly intensive workshop that challenged me to truly face all the fears and demons within myself. And I felt like at this workshop, I had a mini spiritual awakening. And after the workshop, when I got home, I was just laying out on the grass outside in the sunshine. And this idea of the book just flowed into my being and unfolded into my consciousness. And the very first poem, one of the first poems in the book, "The Light That Can Never Be Extinguished," was born. And so that was the moment that really began my journey of writing this experience.
Can you read one of your poems from your book for us, please?
Absolutely. So I will read one of my poems at the end of the book about coming home. It's in the homecoming chapter, and it's called "The Time Capsule." Coming home to the truth and magnificence of one's divinity is carefully seeded through one's life, through circumstances, words, challenges, and mere mundane occurrences. But it is nothing short of miraculous, a miraculous alchemy of the heart to spring forth a remembrance of truth. To awaken, life sends us experiences, perfectly orchestrated, to bring us into our own hearts, the portal to our divinity. These are the most sacred time capsules, divine alchemical promptings that bring us home, that guide us back into the heart of the One.
Thank you. That's very beautiful.
Thank you.
So what do you hope readers receive or learn when they read your book?
I want readers to really know that in their own journeys, that when they go on this experience of this journey with me, that they have the permission and the safety to also go within themselves. And as I faced my demons in the book, that they can also face theirs. And so I'm hoping that it gives them the courage and permission to just love and accept themselves exactly where they are, and that that they feel the support and love through my journey, because that was my intention with writing this book, is to have people know they're not alone, and to just give them permission, just the permission to be exactly who and where they are in their journey.
Mm. And how has the writing of your book helped or inspired you personally?
So that's kind of a funny question, because I was talking to my mom the other day about the journey of this book and where it was going. And it was interesting because I was feeling, ironically, like I didn't have a purpose anymore. It was kind of like, okay, well, I wrote the book, now what? Like, what if it doesn't reach people? What if it doesn't reach people and go very far? I mean, what was the point in it? And so I was really in this space of feeling kind of hopeless about it. But she said something very wise, and she said, Jesse, if this book just changes you, that's the purpose, because you are your purpose. And so let it just inspire and change you. And so I looked at my book and I opened it to just a random page. And the poem was exactly what I needed to hear in that now moment. And I was like, wow. It just awakened me to this experience of this book. If I could just live what I have learned in this book, then I will have done what I came here, in the small expression of my purpose. I would have accomplished a lot.
I would say it's not a small expression, and I would say that it is a large expression, and I agree with your mother. That is a really powerful way. I don't believe that anything can be singular to us, though. So, in the sense that if you feel that you're the only one it touches, as it touches and changes you, you are touching and changing others, just in the new way that you show up in the world. You know what I'm saying? So it couldn't only be for you, even if you wanted it to be, because,
Yeah.
because again, you are your own expression. And so, so I think that was wonderful, wonderful insight from your mom. And I'm happy to know that it was meaningful for you, but I don't think we can count, or anyone can count, a book's success by sales numbers. It's so much more profound than that.
Yes, I agree. And I feel like just the energetic signature behind who we are is what affects our world more than we could ever know. When I was writing this poetry book, in a few of my poems, I kind of hit on this topic of, we touch people, we affect people just by our presence, just by our energetic signature. And no matter what, our message will reach those who it is meant to reach, even if we don't see how or don't understand, the how it's getting to them. It still reaches them in a very profound way. And so and my mom actually said this as well, and it just popped in my mind. She said that underneath it all, me writing the book and putting it out into, I guess, the human consciousness, the collective, just that signature, that energetic impact is happening. Even if a lot of people don't read it, there's that going on, which I found that really profound as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. I agree. So as far as people who have read it, because I know that people have read it and you've received some responses through social media, can you share some of the greatest gifts, or a gift you've received in the form of a reader connecting with you after they've read your book?
Hmm. So one of my friends on Facebook, she's really inspiring, and she she said it was just such a lovely journey, and she's not through with it all yet, but she did reach out to me and say that it just brought so much insight, and that she has not encountered a writer quite like me before. And I just found that really such a huge gift that she said that, because it it allowed me to see that these words do reach people.
Absolutely. And I think it's the kind of book that, again, you may not just pick up and just as a story, just read cover to cover. I think the book meets you. You meet the book where you are, and what I think it's the kind of book that you read some and you process and you live and you experience and then you read more. I think and I think you could read it many different times, and based on where you are, you will have a different experience with the words.
Yes. Yeah.
So what message do you have for your audience, for the listeners? What would you like them to know?
So a lot of the book is about facing our shadows and the darkness and the pain, and that's kind of the scary part that people, even I did not want to do. I did not want to face the shadows. I didn't want to face the pain, but that's where the gift lies. That's where our greatest gifts is in those shadows that we find and bring to the light. And so I would like to read a part of a poem, and it's just a short little part of a poem, and it's bringing the shadow sides home to reign as the sun. And I'm hoping by sharing this that it'll kind of explain the gift in facing the darkness and the pain. So the part is, will I ever fall in love with life, to write a story of love, grace, beauty, and magic, instead of writing and rewriting this story of fear, collapse, struggle, and strain? Will the light aspects of me ever reign to create my dreams? God, please, what do I do? Embrace the hurt, embrace the fear, embrace the pain, embrace the shadows. Befriend and love these shadows part of you. These parts, my love, are where the gift lies. Instead of shunning and trying to rid of, embrace, accept, and nurture. Listen and love. This will open the doors to bring these shadow sides home to reign as the sun.
It's a beautiful message to close with, and thank you for sharing it. So J.S. Drake, please tell us how people can find out more about you and where they can order your book, May I Only Leave Rose Petals.
So I am on Facebook and Instagram, and you can search at May I Only Leave Rose Petals or J.S. Drake, and you'll be able to find my page. And there are links on those pages as well that go directly to a free excerpt that you can read part of the book for free. And then within that is a link to Amazon. Or if you want to just look on Amazon, you can type in May I Only Leave Rose Petals as well and find it there.
Perfect. Thank you, J.S. Drake, for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Patricia. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks. And thank you to our listeners for joining us today. I am your host, Reverend Patricia Caginello, and you have been listening to Sacred Stories, available on the Sacred Stories podcast.